Hey guys, welcome to the Skull Show. It's your host Paxton. We're here for week 2, back with Jason. So a lot happened week 1, like you said, preseason week. Really weird. Vikings get the win, played pretty well. Darnold played well, just like I said, and I said everyone would get their hopes up on Darnold, which is true so far. But uh, anything you want to say about the Vikings versus Giants game?
Uh, I think my prediction was Aaron Jones would have a good game. He did. You said Naylor would score. He did. And yeah, Giants seem like they're pretty bad this year.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll get into our week 1 predictions after we talk about the last week. So game predictions. You had a lot better week than I did. You went 62%. I went 37%. So
Oh,
bad week for me. But it is only week 1, and I'm only behind 4 games. So not too big. Last year I believe you won the game predictions by 1%, but I kind of dominated the bold predictions. So we'll see what ends up being this year. Bold
I
predictions
put
that
you.
came off the board.
I put you in the
3 of them.
rearview mirror. Week 1, I put you in the back seat.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. I'll be back after this week, but bold predictions that came off the board. 3 of them came off the board. One of mine, 2 of yours. I got one right. It was Jalen Naylor score a touchdown. You got both of yours wrong. One of them was that Tua Tagovailoa will be put on IR after week
Wait,
1.
wait. Remember I said a significant player goes down for the year. I didn't know who it was. I just grasped at straws.
Yep,
Said,
yep. You did
and
say
then it was
that.
almost Love, but he's fine.
Yep. So yeah, pretty close there, but two is fine as of right now. And then your second one was the Cowboys will have as many defensive touchdowns as offensive touchdowns in week 1.
I should have
I
said.
would have
I should have said
counted special
defensive slash
teams in that.
special teams. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have counted it if it happened, but it was 2 offensive and 1 defense or 1 special teams touchdown. I probably would have counted it, but
Well, they
yeah.
crushed
So
anyhow.
yeah, that sums up week 1.
Zimmer,
We can talk about
Zimmer.
well the Deshaun Watson did score 17 points, and it was Deshaun Watson, so it's not like it was.
Might be his last game of the year,
Yeah, he is not very good at football,
and
but
he's in
I don't know how
trouble again.
much Zimmer had to do. Yeah, that's true. He did. Yeah, he's not a good person or a quarterback. So we'll get into week 2 predictions. Hope to bounce back here. The first game, which is tomorrow, well, it'll be today, as in when this is uploaded, because this gets uploaded at 11 a.m. the next day. But anyways, Bills at Dolphins Thursday night football. I think this should be a pretty good game. I like the Dolphins in this one. I think that they have a high-powered offense. Both teams didn't look great in week 1. Both teams won against a team that they probably should beat by a little bit more than they did. So I'll go with Dolphins.
Bills.
Any reason why?
Tyreek Hill's gonna get arrested before the game.
I mean, if that happens, yeah, you'd probably be right. That's NFL receivers, and you still are yet to like Jefferson, and he's yet to do anything wrong. But he's not holding out, and he's not getting arrested on the way to games. So, and you still aren't a fan of him. I don't get it. But that's another topic.
We'll talk about him later.
Yeah. The the next game I have on here is 49ers at Vikings. So this will be our score prediction. Remember, we're only doing score predictions for Vikings game this year just because it's a lot easier for me. But Niners at Vikings, the spread is 6.5 points for the Niners to win, which means they're 9-point roster favorites because obviously Vikings get +3 for being at home. So I will take the Niners in this one. CMC's hurt, but I don't want to overthink it. I'm not going to get too high after week 1 win. Maybe if we start off the season 2-1 or 3-0, and the one loss was a competitive loss and the 2 wins were pretty good, then I think I'll start getting a little bit on the bandwagon of the Vikings. But as of right now, I'm still a little bit cautiously optimistic. Darnold looks pretty good, but I don't know. I don't think it's sustainable necessarily, especially not against the reigning Super Bowl runner-ups. So I think the Niners get this win, and I'm going to say they win 31-24. So not a blowout, but they cover.
Same score as last week, 24-6 49ers win. Vikings don't score. Sam Old McDarnold had a football team is not going to be very good this week.
Old McDonald had a football team. That's a new one. But yeah, that I think the Niners will win, but as long as the Vikings look competitive, I think I'm fine with it because I mean, low expectations. Next game, Seahawks at Patriots. Obviously, Patriots got the win last week, but I think the Seahawks are a much better football team. I don't think that I could not picture the Patriots starting off 2-0, so I'm just gonna go with the Seahawks based on that.
I really want to go Patriots. I do. I really, really want to.
And
But
you
I'm-
said this last week, and you said the same thing. You said you were leaning towards Patriots, then you
Yeah.
picked the Bengals,
Because
and
I think the Bungles are going to be bad this year. They have too much drama going on. But I'm gonna I'm gonna
do it. Do it.
I don't even know who the chickens have. I'll go chickens.
Oh, all right. So we're
Reluctantly.
not getting the
Reluctantly.
So yeah, I mean I don't think that game's gonna get too many viewers, but we'll see. Next game, Giants at Commanders. I'm gonna go with the Commanders mostly just because the Giants look terrible versus the Vikings. Like they got handled by the Vikings. Like the Vikings dominated them, and I don't think the Vikings are that good of a team. So I'm gonna go Commanders.
Redskins.
Next game, we have Chargers at Panthers. Ooh, this is a rough one. I didn't even look at the schedule, but this does not look like a good week of football. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers. The Panthers might not win a game this year. They lost 49-17 or 13 versus Saints, and I think the Saints are probably a bottom 3 team. So Chargers.
Harbaugh 2-0 playoffs. Like I said, they'll be good.
Yeah. Next game, Saints at Cowboys. I'm probably gonna go with the Cowboys in this one. Just because.
Cowgirls.
Next game we have Colts at Packers. Love obviously got hurt. I picked the Colts last week after saying I think the Texans are gonna win. I think I don't like saying this, but I think the Packers find a way to get it done. Just because they're the Packers and they're never terrible. I think the Packers with Malik Willis gets a game done, and
Quinn, Colts or Packers?
What?
Colts at Packers. Who wins?
No, the Packers.
Colts. I guess we're going.
So,
Colts.
so Quinn's actually 2-0 on our predictions. She made 2 predictions last week, and you were right on both of them, Quinn.
I was.
So, and so you picked the Colts in this one. Vikings versus 49ers. Who do you think is going to win?
Vikings.
Nice. You said the Vikings were going to win the Super Bowl. Jason said that makes one of us, but I don't know. They're on the right track. 1-0.
All right.
Bye, good
So,
night.
Good night.
Bye, good night.
Good predictions.
So Jason, who do you think is going to win Colts at Packers?
Colts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like necessarily picking the Packers. I don't like. There's not really much logic behind it. I just think that I don't really picture them starting 0-2. So
I got bad news though. Packers still win the Super Bowl.
after starting 0-2.
Yeah, it doesn't. 7. There's so many games now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't think Super Bowl. Well, remember the Packers were 6-8 going into week 16 last year,
Almost
and then they played the Bears, Vikings, and I forget who else, but I know Panthers. They crushed the Vikings, who are on the QB3. Barely beat the Panthers, who are just terrible, and then beat the Bears, who also were really, really bad last year. And then they got one good. They had one good game in the final 4 weeks, and it happened to be the playoff game versus Dallas, and then they lost to the Niners. I don't think the Packers are actually that good of a team. In fact, I was talking with my friends this week. Actually, no, we'll save that for bold predictions. So next game we have Browns at Jaguars.
Jaguars.
I'm gonna go with Jaguars as well. I mean, both. I feel like both these teams are above average, probably competing for a low end playoff spot. this should be actually a pretty good game. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Jaguars. Next, we got Jets at Titans. Jets look pretty bad on Monday Night Football. Rodgers doesn't look ready yet. I'm sure he will get there, but I'm gonna go with the Jets. I don't think the Titans played very well. They lost to the Bears, and Caleb Williams had an awful debut. We'll get to that later, but I'm gonna go with the Jets.
Titans are horrible. Jets win.
Yep. Next game, we got Tampa at Detroit. So this is I haven't taken many upsets this week yet, but I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers in this one. I think that I said it the last time. I don't think the Lions are gonna be that good, and I said they'd lose to the Rams. That game went to overtime, and the Lions won. With Puka getting hurt, he got put on IR, which sucks. But I still don't think the Lions are gonna be that good. And I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers.
I hope the Buccaneers win, but I'm going Lions.
Yeah, you also agreed with me though. So when are the Lions going to start losing? Do you think?
It's a long season. They'll fold late. Their coach will make some mistakes again, probably.
Yeah, probably. Next game, Raiders at Ravens. I'm not even going to really give an explanation. I'm going Ravens.
Raiders are horrid. Ravens win.
Next game, Rams at Cardinals. I like this game. This should be a pretty good game. I'm going to go with the Rams. Competed well against Detroit. Kupp's back to the wide receiver one, which I think he can do as long as he can stay healthy. So the Cardinals actually were up 17-0 versus the Bills, who I picked last week. I picked the Cardinals, and the Bills came back. So I'm going the Rams.
I'll go Scrams.
Next game, we have the Bengals at the Chiefs. A little bit of a rivalry game. It all comes down to me if the Bengals can get it going, because the Bengals always suck at the beginning of the season. It's just a matter of how long, but I don't think they get it going yet. So I'm going to go Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Next game, we have Steelers at Broncos. Both teams pretty mid. Steelers got the week 1 win. Broncos lost. So I'm probably just going to go Steelers here.
Broncos.
Next game, we have Bears at Texans. I'm going to go Texans. Sunday Night Football, by the way. Williams did not look good, so I think going against a better offense, I think Texans win. I think Williams will probably end up being good eventually, but not yet.
Don't want them to win, but my gut says Bears win.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a tough one for me too, but Monday Night Football, we have Falcons at Eagles. Falcons looked really bad. Kirk looked not good, but this is probably an upset. Eagles looked really good, actually, but I'm going to go with the Falcons on Monday Night Football.
Eagles.
So we're pretty spread out on our picks this week. So either that could be you could be furthering your lead by a lot, or I could catch up or even get ahead of you. So pretty important week here. Looks like we lost Jason temporarily. So I'll get him back in here. Okay.
Watching the Yankees Royals.
Who's winning?
Tie 3-3 bottom 10.
Okay, pretty close. So we'll get into our bold predictions here. Reminder, I'm 1-0
That's all
so
the
far.
games.
Yeah, it is. And so I'm 1-0 so far, 1 for 1, 100% on my bold predictions, no touchdowns. Jason's 0%, 0 for 2 with 0 touchdowns. And the one that I still have on the board is that Saquon Barkley will be RB1 in fantasy points per game at the end of the year, which is on track to be true. He is number 1 so far. So you want to start off with bold predictions?
Yeah, this is definitely worth a touchdown. Sam Old McDonald had a football team, is going to have 3 interceptions against the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
That's a touchdown, right?
Yeah, 3 interceptions is pretty big. So yeah, I'll say touchdown. But I mean, I don't. I think that's pretty borderline touchdown, but I'll give it a touchdown just because 3 interceptions would be a pretty big train wreck. I just don't think the odds of a train wreck happening in this game aren't necessarily that low. So we'll say it's a touchdown. I'll make my second one. we can decide if this is a touchdown or not. I think it is, considering you have them winning the Super Bowl. But I think the Vikings will finish with a better record than the Packers and will make the playoffs. This is more of a Packers dig. This is more of a Packers dig than a Vikings raise up. I'm not that high on the Vikings yet, but I think they probably, based off this prediction, which I'm going for a touchdown, but I think they sneak into playoffs. I don't actually think this is going to happen, but it's playoff. It's like a touchdown prediction. So I'll say the Vikings finish with a better record than the Packers and make the playoffs. I can give you an explanation if you want, but I already kind of did.
That's all right. So I'm going to go on record then, since I've said it, but I haven't went on record. And this has got to be worth more than a touchdown. But Packers win Super Bowl. I'm saying this week 2, they're 0-1, their quarterback died, and I'm still taking them to win the Super Bowl. That's a bold prediction.
That is, yeah, that's a touchdown. So would you say mine is a touchdown too, by the way?
Sure.
All right.
Mine like 4 touchdowns. Okay.
Well, you've only gone for touchdowns so far, and haven't got any. You went for double touchdowns actually, because you said that a specific player would get put on IR, which obviously didn't happen, but that's what a touchdown is. Packers will win Super Bowl. Is this more of a, like, you think the Packers are like super good, or you just think that it's just the Vikings and that's how it goes? Being a Vikings fan.
I think the NFC's up for grabs, and the Packers, I just unfortunately think that they're just as good as anyone. And Love really took a step forward last year, and I think he'll be fine when he gets back. And they have a good defense. And oh, by the way, the worst thing as a Vikings fan, the Packers have the youngest roster in the NFL. The Vikings, who, as you said, are rebuilding, which they said competitive rebuild, they're the 5th oldest roster in the NFL. Not good.
I think that, yeah, that's a true stat, but I don't know necessarily how like important of a stat it is, because, well,
it is.
Take away Andrew DePaula, long snapper, who is 37. Stephon Gilmore, 33, 1-year deal. Harrison Smith gonna retire after the year, and Shaq Griffin, 1-year deal, quarterback. Then you're probably about the same range as the Packers. I saw the stat too. Packers are average 25 years old. Vikings are average like 27. Take away those people, Vikings are probably pretty low in the 26 category. So I think it's an overblown stat. Take away some older players that are going to be gone after this year.
But you have to replace those guys.
Yeah, but it's not like they're the best players. Like, one of them's a long snapper. Gilmore's solid, but we have Mekhi Blackman coming off IR. Shaq Griffin, again, he's solid, but nothing special. He'll probably be replaced with a similar free agent type guy. Smith, I think we already have the replacement in Cam Bynum and Josh Metellus. I mean, they pretty much have 3 safeties, and you can always just go to 2 or find a guy like Jay Ward, who's pretty good in my opinion. Theo Jackson is solid. Unfortunately, Sean was not, but you know.
I got a confession to make. Hopefully I don't get kicked off the Skull Show for this. What's Shaq Griffin do? I'm being serious.
He's a cornerback.
Okay.
He missed all of training camp with injury. The linebacker with one arm, Shaquem Griffin?
Mm-mm.
He played for the Seahawks. He had like one hand, like he didn't have one of his hands pretty much. So he's his brother.
Kind of like Jordan Addison has no ankles.
Yeah, that too. Okay, we'll get to that after I finish my bold prediction. Okay, I haven't really thought about the second one yet, so I'm gonna go. I predicted against it. I'm gonna say TJ Hawkinson is back exactly week 7. So I don't really have a reason for it. I've just heard that's kind of his timeline, so I'll just say he's back exactly week 7.
That's an extra point.
Well, there's always like aggravations to injuries, or maybe he'll be back a little bit early. So,
I got a fun fact for you. So Jordan Love looked like his leg got broken off and he was going to have it amputated and be out for the season and maybe his career. And now he's out like 1 to 3 weeks. Correct?
He's trying to get back for this week even. So yeah.
So anyway, you get my point. Meanwhile, news was released this last week that your guy, JJ McCarthy, didn't actually tear his ACL or MCL or whatever it was in a game. It happened the day after the preseason game, going down his stairs in his house, and he heard a pop, and that's when he tore his knee. Can't make it up.
That sounds like he's a Vikings player.
Yep. Or our Twins, or Timberwolves, or Wild.
Oh my gosh, I've probably brought this up on the show before, but I was probably in 4th or 5th grade, so I don't have a great memory of it. But I just remember Sano, Miguel Sano, got like season-ending injury because he fell down the stairs.
Well, he cut his foot, but I think it was more to that story. It was in the Dominican. He was probably not behaving very well and cut his foot. But speaking of Twins, not to turn the Skull Show into the Twin Show. Hold on. What? Okay. The pup just got put in the kennel. Breaking news. But not to turn the Twin or Skull Show into the Twin Show, but I was drinking some milk today, and on my milk carton there was a picture of Carlos Correa and Byron Buxton. They're missing. Nobody can find them. They're lost.
I think Buxton's supposed to be back. I think he did his assignment, got a little, like, I don't know, he setback. So he'll probably be back soon. I don't know anything on Correa. Yeah, Buxton is made of glass. Great player, but wow. And Correa, pretty similar story. Pretty much all Twins players, actually. But Correa, I think, based off what I've heard, he'll be back probably right before the playoffs, and it's gonna be more of a type thing of pain tolerance rather than like injury healing, I guess.
Yeah, they may not make the playoffs, but they did win tonight. Mm-hmm. Wallner's on fire. He's hitting bombs again. He hit one onto Hennepin Avenue last night. Absolute bomb missile, crushed it, and then he hit an apple homer tonight. So Wallner carrying the team, no big deal. Rocco making bad pitching decisions, and the team is going backwards. But they've won 2 in a row. But they have a tough schedule coming up.
Yep. So that I don't know too much about the Twins. I do know they won today versus the Angels. I do know they fell backwards in the playoff race a little bit. They were kind of locks for a little bit, but now they're more of fighting for it again. So that's all I got to add on the Twins.
They're battling it out with the Detroit Lions. The Lions are only 3 back now.
Oh, the Tigers. I didn't get the reference right away, but
Lions, Tigers, and Indians. Oh my.
So, yeah, we have our. We'll go back into football. We'll talk about Addison injury a little bit. Both ankles injured now. I mean, I'd probably sit him this week. Just don't want to risk anything. I'm not gonna get like on his case of being injured because obviously this will be his first career game missed due to injury, so it's whatever. Jalen Naylor, I think, could be a good replacement, and obviously Jefferson is Jefferson. He probably won't have a good game just because they'll be able to give him all the attention, but I think that he'll be a huge part in the offense in terms of opening it up for other people.
I can't remember if I said it on the Skull Show or not, but Addison's always going to be hurt his entire career.
Size? Is that what makes you say that?
Well, that's why I thought, but I mean, ankles, whole different story, but just seems like he's going to be a guy that's always hurt if he's not kicked off teams for being an idiot, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Addison's a great player, but he's got to figure it out. Anything else I'm missing? I know I am missing some things because I said we'll get to it later, but let's talk about Kirk Cousins. Really bad week 1. Pretty sure he had he had an awful week 1, and I looked at something that said he had he left the pocket 1 time, which is just kind of.
He's still hurt. He's still coming back. He's 90 years old. He's coming back from his Achilles. Same thing with Rodgers. It's going to take him a little while to come back. But the Falcons are idiots. Well, they could be geniuses too, I guess. Depends how you look at it. but they drafted Penix. The reason I said they're idiots is because now Cousins is going to be pressing. He's going to be rushing back here from this injury, trying to play hard because they got a guy behind him. So that's the idiot side of it by the Falcons. The genius side of it is if Kirko Chains is a broken chain and the Kirko chain broke, then they have a guy that they can put in there right away.
Yeah, it's true. So this is a kind of hot take, but not really. I don't think I would not even consider trading Sam Darnold and McCarthy for Cousins. Like I know that's really not a hot take, but I'm just kind of saying it. I think that Kwesi, obviously, I'm a lot more confident in KOC or Smiley than
Smiley,
I am.
yep. We that was breaking news last week, so we got to stick to that one.
So I'm a lot more confident in Smiley than I am in Kwesi, but I think that he did make the right move, and I think I think it wasn't even like if we were stuck with Kirk, I'd be a lot less confident than I am now. So I think that Darnold and McCarthy is way better than Kirk going forward.
We don't know about McCarthy yet, and Sam Old McDarnold had a football team is not good at football. He had a good week, but the jury's still out. And if Kirk didn't get hurt last year, he was on fire. They would have re-signed him. So I know what you're saying, but it's kind of hard to look at it that way because the reason they didn't sign him partially, I think, was because of the injury. But he was playing at an MVP level last year.
Yeah, he was.
Before he got hurt. But yeah, Old McDarnold had a farm. Not sold on him. I just don't think he's good. And McCarthy, hopefully, will be good, but he got hurt going down the stairs.
I remember you did say during the off-season episodes, mostly the 99% Timberwolves, as actually pretty much the draft / Timberwolves episodes, but you said that Darnold would be like Baker Mayfield last year, and then the Vikings would be forced to make a decision between him and McCarthy. I think
that could happen.
I think that's still possible, yeah.
But I still think it's an easy decision like that. Then you sign Old McDarnold to like a 2-year deal, pay him a lot of money, and McCarthy sits at the beginning of next year, and then you do the same game plan. Because I don't think McDarnold is a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I don't either. And I think that the nice thing
Baker might be.
Yeah, I mean the nice thing though is like a guy with like McCarthy with him, it's fine sitting him a few more like an extra season and a half because he is 21 right now. I'm kind of getting feedback right now. Like I can. Oh, never mind. It's fine now. So, I think that it's easier to sit McCarthy for a little bit because he's only 21, whereas guys like Bo Nix, Jane Daniels, and Penix are all 25. So you got at least an extra 4 years to work with him. Obviously, it comes out of contracts too. That's a pretty big part because rookie deals opens up a lot for your team. But another hot take I'll make is that I think the Vikings edge rusher room is way better off without Hunter and with Van Ginkel, Grenard, and Turner.
They probably fit the defense coordinator system better. And the best player on the team is going to, or I shouldn't say best, the biggest fan favorite, write this one down, for Vikings Rubes is going to be Rip Van Winkle, the defensive guy. They're going to love him. They love his hair. They love that he's from the Midwest. And he's a blue collar guy. They like that.
Yeah, I think that he had a great week, and I think that'll maintain. So, do you have any hot takes or anything you want to just say on the record? Well, I guess not really on the record, but just to put out there.
I stuck with the Packers Super Bowl, unfortunately. Vikings coming home from London, which, by the way, I still haven't decided if I'm going to that game. Right now, I'm leaning no because I have a work trip, so that's a whole nother discussion. But we will probably not be attending that game, or I won't be. But either way, I think on the flight home from London, the Vikings will be 1-4 because they play San Francisco, Houston, at Green Bay, and then the Jets. I think they're going to lose the next 4. And then I don't know who they play after the bye week.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to be 3-2, and then they're just going to completely drop off. I think they're going to end up my prediction was that they make the playoffs, but I don't really think that's just going to happen. I just was kind of getting the touchdown prediction, but I think that they're going to end up 7-10, but start off 3-2, and I think that the wins
Who
off
are
the
they gonna
record as
beat?
well. I'm going to say the Jets and the Niners. Which Niners? I remember this is we're talking about hot takes here, so Jets and Niners.
Ugh, yeah, I don't see it. I think they're gonna get. I just have a gut feeling that they're gonna get crushed this week. And when I say crushed, 24-6, because I don't think the Niners are gonna put up 30 points again. And I just think it's gonna be a story of they're gonna put up 24 some way, shape, or form. And old McDarnold had a farm or football team he's just gonna be bad. So it's gonna go from one extreme to the other. Oh, he's back, great system, blah blah blah. Or not back, he was never there, right? But playing to the ability of the number 3 pick. And then he's gonna have a rude awakening this weekend. That's my prediction or hot take. And then Houston, I think they're pretty good this year. And I don't think they're gonna have an answer for that quarterback. And then at Lambeau, they won last year, so they're not going to win there for a couple of years. It doesn't even matter who's playing. It's just the game of odds, right? Like the Vikings win at Lambeau once every probably 6-7 years.
I feel like that series is like 90% of the time split, and I'd say every 3 years, every 3 years the Vikings win is at Lambeau, and the other 2 it's at US Bank. I think that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, but after winning last year, again, it doesn't even matter who's playing. I think the Packers will win. So that puts them at 1-3, and then that Jets game, Rodgers will probably be kind of in the groove by then. So just not a good schedule coming up for the old purple.
Do you have any like injury predictions? Like, do you think that Tua is going to get hurt again, or Aaron Jones? Maybe you mentioned.
Yankees just beat the Royals 4-3, walk off, bottom 11.
It's pretty good for the Twins, but I don't really want to play the Yankees first round because that never goes well. But
injuries, the first significant Vikings injury is gonna be a lineman. It's gonna be.
I was just gonna predict
Christian Darrisaw.
Yep, I was just gonna say him. I think that I agree with that. I think that he gets hurt.
He just owned the Giants. Apparently, signed a big deal. He's going to be crushing after the first couple of weeks, and then go down with an injury, and then the line is going to be just absolute poop.
Well, I don't think that he would actually be the biggest hindrance to the line because Quisenberry, the swing tackle backup, he's startable. Probably a low end starter, but he's startable.
Drop off though.
Yeah, from the top probably 3 to 4 tackle to low end starter. Yeah, but I mean the interior. I'm pretty sure that Ed Ingram and Bradbury just did awful, but I think that Blake Brandel, left guard, did really good. Darrisaw did really good, and O'Neal did solid. Obviously, going against Dexter Lawrence doesn't really help your case, but that's just how it went.
I do have one more comment before we sign off, and it's nothing personal. CJ Ham, I think I said something on the podcast last week. If I didn't say it on that, I said it to you at some point or to somebody. But I mean, why are we keeping this guy in the team? I know he's a good guy. He's from Minnesota. He went to Augustana and Sioux Falls, but he does nothing. He is zero value. He's probably a good locker room guy, though, right? I think that's what I said, actually.
Yeah, he's. I mean, what? Okay, the reason
he shouldn't be on the rooster.
The reason they had him last year was to be more of the pass blocking down guy, but now Jones he's a really good pass blocker along with obviously running back. So you don't really need that type of guy anymore. So now I agree. They're just keeping around locker room guy, Minnesota guy. He's not. He's not very good. I hate to say it.
He could bench press me and crush me and throw me off this deck, but I might be faster. I might be quicker. I'm 47. I'm old. And that's probably not a far off statement. He's so slowed.
Yeah, and I mean,
Oh, they're going to dump the water on the guy.
walk off.
Yep, here they go. Here they go. They got him.
Yeah, I mean, big win for the Yankees.
I got nothing else to add. I think we'll have more input next week after, like we talked and I said last week, and you agreed with me this week. Last week was essentially like a preseason week because none of these teams have played their guys really. So you don't really know what you have. So week 2 will bring a little bit more clarity to the picture. Still early in the season, 17 weeks, long season, a lot can change, but I think we'll have a little more clarity this week.
I agree.
After a true week 1 kind of.
This is pretty unrelated to the Skull Show, more of a fantasy football thing, but I don't know if you're really like pay attention to fantasy at all, but tight ends this week in fantasy football were awful. Only 5 tight ends scored above 10 points this week, which is terrible.
Early, but I'll just make this fantasy football comment. It's kind of a good plug here for my team, which is what's the name of my team? It's Go Cousins. For all those viewers out there, I'm back-to-back defending champs, going for a 3-peat. The reason I didn't pay attention this week is because my opponent had Saquon Barkley, and I saw on Friday night that he scored 3 touchdowns. So I realized that I had probably 0 chance of winning. So I don't even know what the final score of my game was, but it's a good reminder. I should probably go in there. I should probably call up my coach, see how my guys practice this week, get my lineup set, and try to get on the board this year and go to 1-1 after winning the title the last 2 years. There were some expansion teams added to the league this year that, my team's very well aware of. We know that we got our work cut out for us, but it's a long season. We got a ways to go. We'll be fine. All we got to do is make the playoffs. Doesn't matter what seed we are, we'll win it.
So I hate to say it, your team did really, really bad last week.
That's okay. We had a bad week of practice, preseason game,
But I have more bad news for you. Your current RB2 on your team, Raheem Mostert, is out for next week. And your other 2 running backs are Gus Edwards, who scored 3.8 fantasy points, and Blake Corum, who did not get a single snap.
Well, that's okay. As soon as we hang up the phone here, I'll be calling up my assistant GM. We'll go scour the waiver wire. We'll piecemeal something together for running backs. Like I said, we just got to make the playoffs, and then we'll be fine. We're a playoff type of organization or franchise. We regular season for show, and we playoff and postseason for dough.
All right. Well, I think that's a good way to end it. This was a pretty long episode, but that's fine by me. So
we'll try to bring some more fireworks next week. Kind of a whole hum this week. So for all our viewers out there, come back next week. We won't bore you. We'll have a little more spit and vinegar, as they say.
Yeah, more substance to work with because it won't be just going off week 1, which is oftentimes overreactions. So yep.
All right, prime time.
Who's now 0-2 and just got destroyed by Nebraska.
Well, they're 1-1, but yeah, he's not.
Are they really? Oh yeah, because they barely beat. Yeah, they barely beat mixed college actually, and
the Bison. But I did say this last week. I said I like Prime, but he's gonna have a horrible year.
He's not a good coach. Good probably player. Well, he's a great player, but good recruiter. Not a good coach. Not a good leader. So
quick story for you before we sign off. So Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings back in the day. You probably weren't even born yet. Front row before the game, warm-ups. Dion is probably 4 feet away from me, and I'm screaming at Dion, because Dion never tackled guys. Like, he was a prima donna. He was the best cover corner in the history of football, but he didn't like contact. So I was ripping him. How many tackles do you have, Dion? How many tackles? He ignored me. Then he looked up at me, and he said, "How many tackles do you got?" And then he ran away, and everybody around me was laughing. I was like, yeah, he kind of burned me there, but that was pretty good. Good interaction with Primetime, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I've really heckled any NFL players in my career. my best chance was preseason game. Daniel Carlson was talking to all the fans right in front of us because if you guys didn't know, we go to a lot of games. We were probably actually there's a chance us two were going to go this week, but that ended up getting sold, which I'd say is a good deal. $500.
It's gonna be nice
for a
weather
ticket.
out, you know. It'll be
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not a problem. But
all
my
right.
point is that we sit right next to the kickers, so we get a lot of views of the kickers. So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching the Skull Show. See you guys again next week.